How do you deal with corruption, systemic corruption?
You're never going to be able to deal with it if you don't give particularly government officials who have so much influence and control in other people's lives, salaries in which you can hold them accountable for their corrupt activities, so that they don't feel that they have to shake everybody down to take care of their families. And difficult for countries that are so poor. But in the case of Brazil now, it's basically with its oil reserves and its natural gas reserves and its immense natural resources, it is a country that should be able to start affording to create a middle class even in their public sector, because there's a growing middle class in many other areas of society. But so long as the police are making only enough money to get by, and other government officials in positions of influence are only making enough money to get by, you're going to have that problem. It's just, it is reality that people are going to take care of their families first and foremost. And a lot of the corruption is basically initiated because of that need. But in Rio, the future of Brazil, I would say look to Rio, because there's a governor there that's focused on public safety, and he's fortunate he has a visionary police leader who's in the process of stabilizing the favelas. But Brazil is moving forward. I recently was down there, was able to walk the beaches of Ipanema, Copacabana, and felt very comfortable walking around. They were clean, well policed, people were having a good time. I did not see a single thing that made me fearful, versus a few years before, everything made you fearful down there. Same as in Brazil. Mexico has the potential with its natural resources, with its population, to be much better than it is. But it also starts at the top. They're attempting to turn a corner down there. President Calderon, who's been criticized because of his efforts to go after the drug dealers and the horrific violence that's ensued, is making an effort to go at it. But it is such a complex issue down there because the corruption is so ingrained. And not that we didn't in our own country, the United States, the practices in this country up to the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s would probably rival any of these emerging democracies around the world. But we still had a firmer base, a firmer platform to stand on.
How about the northern drug capitals? Can that be, is that so ingrained that it can't be addressed?
It can be, but it can only be addressed by a government that has tipping point resources to deal with it. By that I mean a percentage of officers who are honest, who are not corrupt, who have critical mass to take on the drug gangs. It's also, and when you focus on the problem is not just Mexico. We have effectively created the problem for Mexico when we were effectively working with the Colombian government to deal with the Colombian cartels. When we got Pablo Escobar back in the 90s, effectively we just pushed it north, closer to our own borders, into a bigger country that had huge borders with us. And so the Mexicans are correct when they talk about that their violence is literally caused by our desire for drugs.
Santiago, Chile.
We're actually working down in Santiago. It's got probably one of the most stable governments in Latin America. It is got a thriving middle class, a very well-educated country. It has a national police that are thought to be relatively corruption-free. And we are currently working with the government down there on redesigning their prison system. And we have just begun to implement a CompStat system for the Carabineros in Chile. So that country and Colombia probably have the most successful government initiatives in dealing with crime, professionalization of their police forces, and reduction of corruption among their police. They pay police a decent wage. They have family services, schools for the children of police, hospitals for the housing, pensions. They treat their police with respect in the sense that they equip them well, they pay them well by standards in those two countries. But those are the two countries that I think will be the focus of other countries looking in that region to look to them rather than the United States.